live in such a goddamn cruel. We live in such a cruel system.
Outpouring of tributes to South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham after his sudden death. Flags have been lowered to half-staff in his honor, including at the White House. Now, Graham was a close ally of President Trump. His office says that he died early Saturday night. He had just returned from a visit to Ukraine. The preliminary cause, they say, is a tear in the main artery from the heart. Caitlin Huey-Burns is in Washington with the latest. Caitlin, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Gail. Well, everyone here is shocked, and we're hearing from former presidents, including Democrat Joe Biden, who served with Graham here in the Senate. He said that across their political differences, they did agree on the profound importance of public service. And Republican George W. Bush hailed Graham as a kind and funny man who loved our country and loved serving it. And President Trump said that he spoke with Graham on Saturday night just before he died. And he said his once political rival turned ally was like a member of the family.
Flags are half-staffed this morning in a stunned Washington, D.C., following Senator Lindsey Graham's sudden death.
He sounded a little tired, but perfect.
President Trump told Meet the Press Sunday he spoke to Graham before he died Saturday night, after the senator returned from a diplomatic visit to Ukraine.
He was like a member of the family to me. It's very tough, actually.
The four-term Republican senator from South Carolina was a former military lawyer and retired Air Force colonel. Known as a foreign policy hawk, he served as a U.S. congressman for 8 years before he was elected to the Senate in 2002. On Sunday, colleagues from both sides of the aisle paid tribute.
No better friend, no tougher adversary.
Graham launched a presidential bid in June 2015.
I have more experience with our national...
Dude, every time they do this kind of coverage about like another fucking piece of shit senator that dies, another war criminal, I'm like, you're really not with us, huh? You're just not with us. You're not with the people at all. Y'all are living on a totally separate planet where you're like, oh, dude, he was so good. He was a joy to play bridge with. It's like, well, I don't care, man. Just be like, yeah, we had a lot of disagreements. Because it's like, this guy's a fucking monster, dude. Your fans might get you to actually become a shipping magnet. Every day I pay for MOFSG to help rich businessmen who yearns to bring jobs, wealth, and prosperity to the great nation of Singapore. Oh, I said, as an international shipping magnet, I'm quite disturbed by the consistent cyberstalking, harassment, and defamation happening by this man in Singapore, a nation I love. It's making me reconsider doing business in Singapore. Yeah. The fact that the beautiful nation state of Singapore has refused to take action against a cyber criminal makes me truly uneasy.
Security than any other candidate in this race.
But he dropped out just 7 months later as Donald Trump rose to the top of the race for the GOP nomination.
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot.
But Graham...
Yeah, it is kind of wild, by the way. 26-year-old with a permit for working on U.S. soil gets gunned down in the middle of the street. And every one of these same media outlets are rushing to defend the Department of Homeland Security. Lindsey Graham, who is a demon, who was a demonic entity through and fucking through, who basically got his life force from the charred flesh of children, whose deaths he celebrated excitedly, whose deaths and destruction he pushed for every day that he was in office. He dies at the age of 71, and everyone's like, this is a disaster. What a catastrophe. I can't believe it. Our priorities are warped, man. Like, I get it. He's famous in comparison to this other guy, but you're far closer to the 26-year-old that got gunned down by ICE than you are to Lindsey Graham. And 26-year-old who got gunned down by ICE has had no adverse impact on your life. As a matter of fact, just a regular dude. Lindsey Graham, on the other hand, has. Fun fact, Meet the Press has it out of Palestinian or Palestinian American guest in over 7 years. Rashida Tlaib was the last time in May 2019.
Eventually became a strong Trump ally. He was a staunch advocate for the president's Supreme Court picks, notably now Justice Brett Kavanaugh, as Senate Democrats tried to block his nomination.
What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020.
He also advised the president on key foreign policy matters, most recently as a defender of the U.S. war with Iran.
If they can't reach a deal acceptable to him, then he should finish.
Zionists don't seem to grasp how shaming works. Sharing screenshots of public posts shitting on Lindsey Graham doesn't shame the OP because everyone hates Lindsey Graham. Much like how exposing posts shitting on Israel doesn't shame the OP because everyone now hates Israel. Wow. Wait, why didn't he post me? It's kind of fucked up. Wait, he didn't even post me? What the fuck? I said some shit too. Hey, yo, chill. You fell off? No, I didn't. I fell on. Facebook, or not Facebook, sorry. Dog, Fox News covered it. Fox News covered it. Fox News covered it. Be real, be real, be for real, be for real, be for real. Fox News covered it. Okay. Fox News covered it. Suck me. Yeah, look, see? Far left streamer Hassan Piker calls Lindsey Graham bloodthirsty, odious monster. Far left streamer Hassan Piker called the late Senator Lindsey Graham, RSC, bloodthirsty, among other names, in a video posted to his YouTube channel on Sunday after the senator died on Saturday of brief and sudden illness. We'd like to take a look at the true worth of a man. We'd like to take a look at what these members of Congress have actually done. Not the way that they covered in mainstream media, but instead the way of what their impact is. The way it should be covered. I'll start off by saying Lindsey Graham, in a long list of demonic entities, was exceptionally bloodthirsty. A bloodthirsty, odious monster who loved war. There was never a war that Lindsey Graham did not fall in love with, he said. Beast mode. Lindsey Graham is pro-life, and yet Lindsey Graham has died. Now, today we're going to be talking about his legacy, as many of the outlets are rushing to talk about Lindsey Graham's background and how wonderful of a guy he is and how awesome he was in polite conversations. We, of course, don't do that here on the Hasanabi broadcast, he said. Piker was among several political commentators who jumped on Graham after his death. That's it. I said he was pro-life, but he died. There was more. They quoted just Lamau. I did say Lamau. What are the comments? Probably negative. I mean, people who post on fucking Fox News. Ironically, leftists describe this Piker guy as a kingmaker. And here I thought they were against kings. Oh my God, you're so stupid. I can honestly say that when politicians for whom I have the most disdain and disgust someday pass away, I will not celebrate their death. Okay, well, you're a bitch. Okay? That's Piker and his ilk are disgusting, hateful, and hollow and soulless. When the far right and far left agree on something, anti-Semitism is almost always the common denominator. Wait, really? We were anti-Semitically hating on Lindsey Graham? Lindsey Graham. The United Auto Workers sends a cease and desist letter to the Haley Stevens Super PAC for using their logo in her ad. Nice. They posted the same shit on Facebook and you're getting universal praise. Let's go. Once again, in the universe that we live in now, it's not about whether you're Jewish or not. Brad Lander is Jewish, right? Brad Lander's very Jewish. He grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. It's, you know, the culture and the religious stuff is important to him. But now that he's like critical of Israel, he's not Jewish any longer. Lindsey Graham, on the other hand, not Jewish at all, but he's pro-Israel, so he's more Jewish than Brad Lander is.
The job.
President Trump had endorsed Graham's re-election bid for what would have been his 5th term in the Senate. Last month, Graham said this about security.
Yeah, Haley Stevens. Haley Stevens, not Jewish. But because she's pro-Israel, the more pro-Israel someone is, the more Jewish they are. Amy Siskin came out and was criticizing people for shitting on Haley Stevens and then said they're all anti-Semitic for shitting on Haley Stevens. Amy Siskin looked at Haley Stevens' level of support for Israel and just assumed like she has to be Jewish, I guess, which is inherently anti-Semitic.
During the Republican nomination.
President Trump, I'm coming.
Anyway, I don't want to fucking hear this shit anymore. Fuck Lindsey
Joining us now
Graham.
by phone is one of his best friends, President Donald Trump.
Oh my God. Oh, what an L for Lindsey Graham. What an L for everybody involved. Your best friend, President Donald Trump. Oh, let's hear what South Carolina residents had to say. They're going to be like, wait, he was my senator? I thought he was the senator of Tel Aviv. Of course, whining about civility. Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I got up and my husband told me, so I just immediately just started praying for him. That's all you can do.
Wait, what do you mean? Is that he's dead?
So.
How does that work?
He's a human being, and you just pray for them.
Okay, well, I'm not Christian. Well, I'm not very religious in general. Do you pray for someone after they died? I thought you were praying like so he doesn't die. It's like too late, right? Do you pray? Oh, you pray for him to go to heaven. Okay, well, that's definitely not going to happen. Lady, Yvette, never mind.
I had been and kind of wasn't, and then voted for him anyway, just because I really believed what he was doing for the people of Iran was a good thing. So I voted for him for that.
Well, I think he leaves behind a legacy, like any politician that's been in office as long as he has. I'm not a supporter of his policies, so, I don't really care about that. But again, sad to see him die.
He's conservative. He doesn't mind speaking his mind in the Senate. His foreign policy is pretty much where I stand. As far as taxation, he's conservative. Overall values. He initially stood up to Trump because Trump's made some bad decisions, but at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, his foreign policy is where I stand. I love Israel too, so.
He supported the foreign policy as far as Iran and things of that nature, so.
I hope we get the opportunity to vote for the person that's going to take his place, and that we really find out who they are, because, it's a hard decision when you know him, you know what you like about him, you know what you don't like about him, and he's proved himself in a lot of ways over all the years. He's got a big track record, so.
Do you plan on rolling out to Michigan again? Yes, I am. I am going to make my way back to Michigan, of course. I plan on going to Wisconsin, too. I plan on going to Michigan, and I plan on going to Wisconsin. Yeah, bro. How disappointing for this lady. Oh, Darlene Graham Nordone will be sworn in the U.S. Senate on Tuesday. Dude, what the fuck is going on in America, dude? Isn't that wild? That we're just like, oh yeah, the senator died. Fuck it. Make his sister his senator. Make his sister daughter his senator. That's right. Many people might not know this, but Lindsey Graham is actually one of the few good things that he's ever done in his life. But Lindsey Graham's parents died at an early age, so he had to take care of his sister. So he actually became her legal guardian. Yeah. Like literally became his her father with legal paperwork. Oh, okay, that's sweet. Yeah, he's a fucking demon. Who cares?
Not to have a track record, it's going to be kind of hard to know who to vote for.
Did you hear this?
Communist Tom Piker's about to FAFO with Pete Hegseth. That's so awesome. I love that Dan Bongino used to be the deputy director of the FBI, and now he sits around in his fucking dumbass studio and makes YouTube videos in the same way that Asmongold does, but it only gets to like 68,000 viewers. If this doesn't result in a massive lawsuit, like, what are you doing, man? You're fucking bitching and moaning and complaining that the Secretary of War has to sue the Secretary of War with credible rape allegations has to sue me for calling it out. This shit was covered in every news outlet. The fuck do you mean? Don't you feel like he's got more important things going on, like a fucking war happening? He's the goddamn Secretary of War, dumbass. Not a fucking podcaster like you. Shut up.
Democratic socialism gaining leeway here in New York, and as social...
He's free now? Yeah, I know. Let him live his life. I know. My man is free. This is why he left his fucking job at the FBI, so he could do this shit.
Ideas begin to sweep the nation. Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom is calling to unify all spectrums of the left to keep Democrats in office.
You know, when I ran for mayor, just for what it's worth, I ran against a member of the Green Party, which was, had aspects of
Your tie too wide? No, it's not. This is old school tie. I don't wear skinny ties.
the DSA that we know it today. There's so many aspects of the debates and arguments today that are just deeply familiar, and I think it's a very healthy thing. I'm one of those Democrats that deeply believes in addition, not division. And so I want a Big Ten party. I want to win.
Our next guest has worked on dozens of Democratic Socialist campaigns and the co-chairs of the New York City DSA, the largest chapter of the Democratic Socialists in America. Grace Mauser joins us now. Grace, thank you for being here. And you heard Gavin Newsom there. I want to start with the remarkable success that Democratic Socialist candidates have had, not just here in New York, but across the nation, in Pennsylvania and Colorado and elsewhere. But when you hear establishment Democrats and others like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer here in New York, it seems that you guys don't have room for them in your future.
I would argue the opposite in many ways. Minority Leader Jeffries and other pundits who have made these comments treat us as a hostile force. But the reality is that we're very serious about winning, which is why we often run in Democratic primaries. But we're also very serious about governing. And that means creating allyships, creating partnerships, building coalition with people who are excited about the type of economic populism that we put forward, and building allies like perhaps Governor Newsom, if he's interested in things like universal health care, reduced cost child care, affordable housing. These are things that we want to do because our primary goal is improving American lives.
But ultimately, at the foundation, there are so many Americans that hear the word socialism and they're afraid of that, Grace, because you have led Americans to believe that there's some effort to transform capitalism into socialism, to move from individualism to collectivism. Is that the goal?
So many people, even those who might not yet identify as a socialist or are scared of socialism as a concept, understand that what's happening in our economy now is not working for them. They can't afford their house. They can't afford childcare. They can't afford education.
But they're trying to get to the American dream, even if they're struggling. And socialism's platform is contrary to the American dream, to individual opportunity, is it not?
In many ways, I think we're trying to look back at what has worked in America's past, but also look at what has been successful in other countries. So things like what President Roosevelt put forward with the New Deal.
But socialism, Grace, has never worked. Not in the Soviet Union and Venezuela.
Oh my
elsewhere.
God.
Let me get to
Brilliant take, sir. Thank you. At least he's being like kind of kind, which is shocking. He's like, come on, Grace. But socialism has never worked. Fuck owned. No. Who could have ever accounted for this take? No. Destroyed. It's like mentioning roads to a libertarian. You know what I mean? It's a one tap. He's like the nice one. He's like the one nice person at Fox News. Yeah, he's so nice.
Quickly, because this conversation could go on for a very long time.
Yeah, Venezuela, Iran, China. Well, they don't even mention China anymore because it's fucking working.
Because I don't agree that socialism is going to help anyone in the American dream. However, we're hearing reports that ultimately there's a new platform that the DSA has that would include eliminating the Senate, replacing the president and Supreme Court with an executive and judiciary chosen by and subordinate to a Congress, amnesty for all illegal immigrants, and defunding the Department of War. Is that the platform?
Well, many Americans understand that the democracy that we have right now isn't working for them. I don't think our platform would get rid of the president, but it would replace the Electoral College, which when Americans, I think, first understand it in their high school government classes, they see that, oh, wait, my vote isn't directly electing the president.
But would you, let me get this in because we only got a few seconds left. Do you really believe in open borders and not having deportations? That's just incredibly contrary to law enforcement and security.
America has a really long history.
I've never seen a Fox guy. Is this guy like related to her or something? Why is he being so kind? I mean, he's obviously not letting her finish her thought, but he's like, come on, Grace. He sounds like a concerned father talking to their woke daughter, dude. It's not kind, it's condescension. Yeah, but on Fox News, whining false concern to cut her off comes across as kindness in comparison to what every other anchor would be doing. Match that up with the energy of every other anchor. They'd be like, how dare you say you want open borders? Why do you want every transgender Guatemalan to butt fuck me? Ah! And you want it to be legal. You want it to be illegal to do straight sex. That's how they operate on every other fucking Fox News outlet. That's why I'm saying for Fox News, I mean, not even for Fox News, this is like Dana Bash wouldn't do this. Dana Bash would be meaner to her. Why do you want to illegalize straight sex and straight marriage?
Of welcoming working class immigrants. My grandmother and her mother came through Ellis Island and worked from Germany and worked as seamstresses. I mean, we believe that
criminal illegal aliens in the country, don't they need to be removed?
We believe that demilitarizing the border, that violent oppression of working class immigrants who come here is not something that most Americans want. And I think the backlash to President Trump's policies really show that.
Grace,
look, the way I calm on this is, look, if someone has done a crime, I think it's far better to, make them go through the criminal justice system rather than give them a fucking free ticket back home. If they've done a crime, they got to do the time. That's number one. Number two, by and large, the overwhelming majority of immigrants are not doing any fucking crimes at all. Okay? They're not. They're just working. It's a paperwork violation. What the hell are we doing? We're going to start tossing people into the slammer for paperwork violations? If we're going to start doing that, how about we start tossing tax evaders into the slammer, tax avoiders into the slammer? Now, that's the type of paperwork that I do want to prosecute. But again, it's just Americans love simple narratives. They're like, oh, no, Guatemalan migrant, bad. Oh. All right. Georgia homeowners being phased out. We sat AOC down with Republican voters. Can she win them over? Uh-oh. What is this? Class of 2026 official trailer, Streamer University. Nice. Let's talk about the Abdul stuff.